I received this DRO from iGaging, this digital readout, for my 20-inch planer. This planer has a fixed cutter head and a movable table, so that's the configuration we'll be using. You can see that they send enough parts that we can connect it pretty much to anything in the world. Okay, now we're going to install the slide. And the slide is actually called a scale beam, number 5 on the instructions. And we're going to install it here. Now, in my planer, there's a hole already there that will fit the bracket. It's an Allen head screw. And we can fit the lower bracket in there and just kind of snug it up, bring it all the way to the front. And then when we do that, we can place the top bracket where we want to put the screw. And we'll just put a mark right there with the Sharpie and then take it back off. Then what we'll do, could you cut it? Okay, so we marked the place where we're going to drill the hole. And I'm just using the center punch to locate that. Then, what come with the kit is the right size drill bit, and we'll put it in that drill. And we'll drill that hole. We only need to drill it about maybe 7 millimeters deep. This is cast iron, so it's pretty soft. So the next thing we'll do is tap the hole. The tap come with it. The tap is 3 millimeter. So we take put it in our tap vise, and we can tap that hole. This is cast iron, so it's fairly soft. In a better position. And now we have the hole drilled and tapped. So we'll go ahead and reinstall the beam. I'm doing the bottom first. And like I said, this hole was already there. That's from the old slide that was on there. We're not going to make it too tight, just a snug, so we can move it. We have to slide it all the way to the front, and when we do that, it doesn't give us room to get the Allen wrench in there. So we're just a little bit snug. We drilled our hole, and then we're going to use these 3mm screws that came with it. Put a washer on it, and tie this to the top carriage. So there's the slide installed. Notice that for this particular machine, the arrow points down. If your head moves, the arrow would point up. So that's that. Now all we have to do is now connect the electronics. So we'll install the battery and then put it in the system, and you see that the display comes up. So we'll put the display on the magnet and let that sit there. The beam then connects to this via this USB port. If you can figure out how to get it in. And then you can see you get a readout of the movement of the carriage. Now what we need to do is just calibrate it. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're going to connect the electronics. The DRO readout will go here. And it has a thumb type screw, so you can drill a hole in here and tap it and then use that screw. In my case, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to take this off and set it here. I have a set of return rollers, and I don't want the returns inadvertently hitting this. So what I'm going to do is mount a magnet here, and then mount that on the magnet, and I can move it if it's in the way. So that's what we'll do. The beam has a USB cord that connects to the digital readout, and that's how you hook it up. So the digital readout has two power sources. One, it will run on battery. So we'll take and install the battery. And then once you do that, now we're going to calibrate the digital readout. So the first thing we need to do is figure out where the planer is set right now. So we're going to run a piece of wood through there. And measure that with a digital caliper. And what it measures is 512 mils. So let's write that down so we don't forget it. 512. Okay, and so that's where we're going to set the digital readout. So to do that, you press the set button for about 3 seconds until the cal indicator starts to blink. Then a long press will get the first digit blinking. Now, in our case, the first digit is 0. So a short press will increment that. And we just want to move it until we see 0. Then we'll do another long press, and the second digit will start blinking. And we want to set that to 5. So that will be 5 short presses. 3, 2, 3, 5. And then we'll go to the next digit, and just a long press to get there. And the next digit is 1, so we'll press it, short presses, until we get to 1. Then the third digit is a 2, so we do a long press. Third digit starts blinking, 1, 2. Another long press, and it will go to the half mil, and we're not going to do anything there, so it'll be a long press. And then the cal is still blinking, so another short press will take it out of the calibration mode. So once we do that, we're calibrated. Now in the calibration mode, it reads out the absolute value that is going to result in what you're planing. But you can also set it to an incremental mode, and that's by pressing the cal 0 button, and it'll be incremental. So now you can see from the display that it's reading 0. So if I take this and let's just set it to 13 mils. So what that will do, it will just take 13 mils off of it. And so you can use it in either mode. In the calibration mode, it will tell you what is cut. In the incremental mode, it will tell you how much it's going to cut. So it's really that easy.